If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? Welcome to episode 867 now of The Ron and Don Show. He's Ron, I'm Don, and we are live in the Les Schwab studios.
What is up, Ron and Don Nation?
Hey, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, what happens? In fact, this may be what's happening at Newark Airport right now, where they just can't land a plane, screens go dark. Is that because people are not turning on airplane mode when they get to the airport? What happens when you don't turn on airplane mode? We'll talk about that. Also, Voyager 1. This is incredible. 1967, the year I was born, we sent an aircraft into outer space, and it's still out there, and it's still doing cool stuff, and we got an update on what it's doing. Before we get to that, though, let's get to this. Seattle Seahawks, they have just decided what the season schedule is going to be. I've gotten with my friend George G. He's deciding what games he's going to go to. I'm deciding what games I'm going to go to. If you want to come see us, we're in section 110. We'd love to see you. And I have to say, he said, well, what games do you want? So I was going through and I was looking at the games that I would like to go to. And I have to say, it used to be, I love going to the San Francisco 49er games. Ron, why do you think I would love going to the San Francisco 49er games?
Back in the day, that was the biggest rivalry.
That's the rivalry. Fact.
It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, George has been kind enough to share these seats with us, and I've been sitting back there since my son was a baby. And in fact, I sit next to my friend Mike Martin, and this whole section, we kind of know each other. We sit together. It's a really cool experience. And we were back there in 2012, 2013, 2014 on the run to the Super Bowl. We were there when Richard Sherman makes the tip and Colin Kaepernick is about to go in, and they turn things around in the NFC Championship game. It was a great game, and we all remember when Ben came out at halftime? Who's Ben?
Macklemore?
That's right. He came out at halftime because we were losing to hype the crowd and get them going. It was a true rivalry. And I have to say, when you would go to a Seahawk game and you look around, you didn't see a lot of red. You did not see a lot of red because the 12 thing was happening. That was a real thing. And if you sold your seats in my section and then you showed up the next week, you get punched in the mouth by somebody. I'm not even kidding. People get so pissed off, so mad. Why did you sell your tickets to a Niner fan? Why did you sell your ticket to a Dallas Cowboy fan? Why would you do that? Because those are the worst fans in all of pro sports. They're the worst teams, and they have the worst fans, right? So you would really feel this competitive advantage that the players, the coaches, when Pete Carroll would come on and say, hey, 12s, let's go. Fast forward to going to a game last year, and I looked around, and I was at the San Francisco 49er game. I felt like I was at a Raider game. It used to be when they were in Oakland, not only did you have all the Raider fans that came up from L.A., because they were in L.A. at one point, right? So the L.A. fans, you had L.A., Oakland, Raider fans there. You would have 3 busfuls of convicts at the end of the game all going to the local jail because they always didn't get along. But you look around and it was silver and black. You go to a game now when you are in Las Vegas. Everybody is there from another part of the country, and you look around and there's hardly any Raider fans there. So I wonder what Pete Carroll's going to do about that. That is what the experience is turned into when you go to a Seahawk game, because a lot of fans have learned, I can sell these tickets, I can make a lot of money.
Right.
I don't have to go to every game this year. I'll go to 2, 3, or 4, and then I'll sell these things off for double, triple the price, which depending on the game, you can do that. But even back in 2012, 2013, when they were making their run, you could sell your tickets back then for a lot more money than you could sell them now, for thousands of dollars. And people didn't do that. What do you think changed? Because I think the whole 12 thing is a bunch of bullshit now.
Well, I don't begrudge fans that pay very high ticket prices from doing what you just described. The thing, and I actually like this about Seattle fans. Seattle fans are very astute, by and large. They're very smart, and they want organizations to put a winning product on the field. And when they do that, there's a tremendous amount of support. And when the ownership doesn't do that, there's not a tremendous amount of support. If we live in a part of the world where there's a lot of opportunity and options for your entertainment dollar. And sports is entertainment. And you can go to concerts. You can go on lots of world-class restaurants. You can go on the water on any given weekend. You can go skiing. You can go boating. You can get in a float plane. You can go to all kinds of interesting things in the great Pacific Northwest, as your son likes to say. And so it sends a message to ownership that we're not like Cleveland where there's nothing going on and you're just going to show up and support any product that you put on the field. Doesn't matter if you spend $200 million on a quarterback that never plays another down. We'll be here and we're your punching bag and we'll just show up and take it. Seattle fans are like, no, dude, if you put a winning product on the field, we will sell out that stadium. You make a run deep into the playoffs in baseball, we will show up and we will support that team. You go out there and you win, your winning percentage is at 30%, we're not going to show up. And I like that about Seattle fans. And so recently, we do not have the same caliber of team.
So if a team doesn't win, you're not a fan?
No, it doesn't mean I'm not a fan. Doesn't mean that I'm going to pay full freight to show up at a game, or I might not sell my tickets to that game. And so I don't have a problem with that at all. I think fandom and the business of ticket selling are two different things.
What about for the guys that went in there? Like there's some guys in my section. There's 5 of them. They bought 20 seats.
Okay.
They used to sit in them with their families. Now they just sell them all off, all 20 seats. Those guys never sit in their seats anymore. That is something that the Seattle Seahawks are trying to crack down on. They do not like that. And I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of that either.
Once you buy the seat, I think you can do with what you want with that seat.
Well, then it's not going to be a good experience because even when you go and have you been to a great Seahawk game? The volume is gone. The fan experience to me is gone. Honestly, what you're paying for a ticket isn't that much. If you're a season ticket holder and you have the seat license, it's really not that expensive. What has happened on the secondary market, you can make so much money on those tickets, and it's become a lot easier to do that. It used to be even during the Super Bowl run, it was more difficult to sell the seats. You would still have to go to a local bar and pick those tickets up. Now that it's all electronic, it has changed all that. And I think what you're going to see happen, and this happens in places where people aren't from there. This has happened. It's one of the reasons why, like in Tampa, or if you go down and you look at any of the teams in Florida, even Carolina, when people aren't from there and they come to visit there, and you'll see this happen in Las Vegas a lot too, and this will continue to happen no matter how good the Raiders are, you're never going to have the New Orleans experience. When you go to a New Orleans Saints game, those Saints fans are there and they're part of the experience. That's why you like going to that game. One of the reasons why people like going to a Seattle Seahawks game, they've heard about the 12s. They've heard about how loud it is. They want to experience that. That experience is gone. And so what you're saying as a fan, give me a winning team, and if you guys are going to win, I'll show up. And if not, I'm going to hang on to these tickets if I can make some money. And if not, I'm going to dump them.
Exactly. I think that is part of the fan experience as well.
So that 12 experience is no longer important to you.
I think I don't go to the same section every time like you do and don't have those relationships. I did. My parents had that with the Denver Broncos, and we knew everybody around our seats. So when I go to a game, I look for the best seat at the best price. I go enjoy that game because I like whatever that matchup is that night, or I just haven't been to a game in a while. So I think my experience with these professional franchises is different than yours. Like I drove to Portland a while back, and me and my girlfriend went and saw an NBA game because I hadn't seen an NBA game in a while, and it was Portland Trailblazers against Miami Heat. Do I really love either of those teams? No.
Yeah,
we wanted to go to a game, and so we did.
Yeah, and that's the problem. People are selling off those tickets.
It's entertainment for me.
Yeah, I have to say, one of the most fun I've ever had at a stadium was when the Raiders went 4-12, because the Black Hole Gang was always going to show up. They're always going to make that tri-tip. They're always going to stand in the end zone. They're always going to give the other team hell. And I thought that fan experience was fun. I think that fan experience has gone away. And as Seattle continues to change, is it continues to become a tech capital. One of my neighbors... I got to slide this in. You and I had a taco truck party at my house, right? And
Well, last year, yeah.
we invited all the neighbors to come, and then we had ice cream, and I don't know what that party cost. You remember?
I have no idea. It's not my
Thousands of dollars. Very expensive. And we invited the whole neighborhood to come. I was invited to a neighborhood party last night by a tech worker, which is fine. And they sent a spreadsheet. They told me I'm not allowed to bring meat because I was going to bring my ribs. No, there's a specific time you're supposed to be there. Shoes have to be off. And then you're assigned a certain thing that
sounds like a really fun party.
I have to make deviled eggs, and you know how much I love deviled eggs. It's going to be a ball.
Can't wait for that one.
That's the kind of fun that tech workers, their spreadsheets and their deviled eggs with no meat have brought to the great Pacific Northwest. I love to go to a football game with them. More in a minute. Hey, you guys, it's Ron and Don for Les Schwab. And guess what? It's the summer driving season. This is what I want you to do. In fact, my son and I are planning on getting in our camper rig, our new camper rig. Well, it's new to us. It's 25 years old, but it's new to us. In fact, we have on some brand new Les Schwab tires. And when I was talking to David over here at the Ballard store, he said, hey, make sure after you put and I actually bought some wheels, put new tires and wheels on, drive that thing around for a couple hundred miles, bring it back, and this is what we'll do. We'll do a free pre-trip safety check before you guys go on your next trip, because guess what we're going to do? We're going to head up to Canada, and we're going to head up to Victoria, BC, take a right and head over to Montreal. Why wouldn't we do
There's
that, right?
nothing worse than being on a road trip and it's like, oh, I guess the brakes were bad. I guess my battery was bad. The suspension was shot.
We do not want
alignment.
Not want to get way up into Canada, and not have that free pre-trip safety check.
So go get your free safety check, the tires, brakes, battery, suspension, and alignment. It is always free. They put it up on the rack. You get more from Les. Visit your local Les Schwab, or you can book an appointment online today at leschwab.com. That's leschwab.com.
He said that's leschwab.com.
Today's show is made possible by your friends Ron and Don. When you're ready to sit down and strategize about your real estate journey, schedule your time with the guys at ronanddonsitdown.com.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Let's talk a little bit about airplane mode. Do you put airplane mode on it?
I don't do airplane. This is the biggest crock of crap that the airline industry has given us for
There's an article out saying this is what's going to happen if you don't use
Nothing's going to happen. Listen, think about your car right now. In your car, you have your cell phone on. The map is pinging the tower every 5 minutes.
It's not an airplane, though, Ron. It's a car.
It's a car.
There's no car mode. We're talking airplane mode.
Car.
30,000 feet in the sky. What's the matter with you?
That an airplane is less sophisticated than my car.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
And so this is a bunch of BS. It has been BS. And I don't bother with it anymore. It's fine. You leave your phone on. It's plugged into the thing. They took away the screens from us, so you have to use your screen now.
Yeah.
No airplane has a screen anymore. So I gotta use my own screen, watching my own entertainment. They say the worst that can happen is that if the exactly 4 people in the perfect triangulation to the cockpit.
Well, a triangulation is not 4 people, Ron.
It's a
Matt off the mic,
quadrilation.
am I right? Is 4 people? Is that a triangle?
I think that's 3, actually.
Yeah.
So it's a
thank you.
perfect 4 people quadrilaterally that the pilot might get some crackling in his headset.
Parallelogram.
So it's a big deal. Like, this is the one thing that they said that did resonate with me is that you can use it as an excuse, the only excuse we still have in modern life, to disconnect for the duration of the flight.
Yeah.
So for your family and friends, you can say, I was on a flight.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Right.
I was in airplane mode.
All right, a couple more questions about flight travel. It used to be you could take your oversized suitcase down to the gate knowing that it's oversized, and you may or may not get it on, chances are if you don't get it on, they're going to check it, but they're going to check it for free. Now they're talking about, well, it's not going to be free anymore. Do you try to do that from time to time? Take an oversized bag down, knowing it's oversized?
I have turned into the packing light Nazi.
Are you with your girlfriend? Is she pack,
Oh my God,
light?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Do you make her pack light?
We did. You'll love this. Let me tell you this story.
Before Ron, Ron's going on a trip. 10 days before the trip, you go to his house.
Like practice.
Everything is.
You got to practice.
Everything is spread out.
You'll love this. You'll love this.
Maybe I won't love it.
We are going. My girlfriend and I went to Japan, and so I bought her a bag, and I said,
Of course you do. When I traveled, you bought me a bag.
I said, everything that you take has to fit in this bag.
Very controlling traveler.
No exceptions. I was like, we are not going to be walking
Did you
through...
Did you speak to her like this?
Absolutely. So I said, we are not going to be walking through Kyoto.
She really likes an alpha dog, doesn't she?
And
I'm getting tired. I'm getting turned on over here.
You're
going to
be wheeling this giant bag
look at you.
through the streets of Kyoto.
Yeah.
So this is what we did. Like 2 weeks before the trip, I said, we're going to do a practice run. You pack everything that you're going to pack.
No, you didn't.
I swear.
Can we stop the show?
I swear.
Can we
Stop the show.
I said, we are going to do a practice run.
That's not the show. The show stopped.
You never stop when I stop.
You can't talk.
When I stop the show, you continue to talk the whole time.
I just want to clarify. No BS. This is 2 weeks before.
2 weeks prior to the trip.
Is this a practice run at her house or your house?
No, we're gonna get on the light transit and practice getting on and off a train.
Oh my God.
This is practice.
No, with your bags?
With the bags.
that are packed?
Because it's like I want her to feel what it feels like to carry the weight. Because she's overpacking.
Oh.
And what I don't want to have happen is I'm carrying my bag and then I got to carry her bag because she packed too much.
I don't know. I've seen her. I think she's stronger than you are. Maybe
strong.
she would end up carrying your bag, to be honest.
So here's what happened, though.
Yeah.
So we do our practice run. Practice run is wildly successful.
Wildly?
Got into
Wait, what made it wildly successful?
Because
What's the difference between success and wild success?
she comes over, she has her bag, I have my bag, we're packed.
Is it the bag you bought for her?
Bag of buffer.
Okay.
We order an Uber.
Yep.
We take the Uber, jump on the train. We took a little train ride. Got back home. Everything was perfect. And I said that worked wildly successful. Then when it comes, when it came to actual travel day,
Yeah.
she put more in her bag.
Damn it.
So she took the practice run. It's like, I can fit a couple more sweaters, a bigger hair dryer, a couple more things into the bag. And then on day one, we're trying to get to the hotel, and she was absolutely crushed.
How do you know?
Because she turned around and she was dying.
Oh, because the bag was heavier?
The bag was like 10 pounds heavier.
So that was not wildly successful.
That was very unwildly successful.
So what did you do?
It took I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I did not say anything. Day four. She turns to me on day 4. We get up. We're going to go tour whatever we're touring that day. And she says, I need to tell you something. And I said, what? I packed too much. And so now, going forward, I think we'll be able to reel it in. That's the fun. If you pack light, here's the beauty of it.
Because you got to leave room for gifts for your friends.
Well, the thing, when you pack light, you get to go out
Buy
and
stuff.
buy something there.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Like I'm wearing a Barcelona t-shirt right now, or a hoodie today.
Yeah.
That I bought in Barcelona, obviously.
Yeah.
And you have to have space in your bag to get the sweatshirt.
People watch us on YouTube TV.
Look at what's on the back. Look
You-
what's on the back.
you can see
Tell
his-
them what's on the back.
I won't tell them because you'll have
What's
to.
on the back?
Nope, you'll have to see it on YouTube TV.
And so, like,
Ron and Don Radio.
American, why we overpack so much, I don't. Because when you're traveling,
Yeah.
and I've been with you as well, you wear the same clothes every day anyway. You have a sweatpants and a t-shirt. You're going to go work out. You're going to come back. You're going to wear shorts and a different t-shirt.
And I don't.
That's
I
the
don't-
look every day.
And I don't wear underwear, so I'm not packing underwear. I'm free balling.
Bring 4 of those and wash them.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Buy socks when you get there.
Exactly. If you need extra socks, they sell socks
Who
there.
needs a toothbrush? They got a toothbrush there.
They have toothbrushes there.
Right?
You bring one, but like you
Oh.
can find one pretty easily.
So how did you get it back on the trip? Now that you've taught her this valuable lesson, How did you get it back to being wildly successful? Did you carry a
on
couple
the trip,
sweaters? Yeah,
it was just heavy.
You did, she had to.
You know what? Actually, we ended up buying a roller bag in Japan,
You did okay.
and so like,
You're anti-roller bag.
I
You're
know
not a
I
roller
am.
bag guy. Because
But
you
like,
always bring up the cobblestone streets and how people know you're an American.
It got to the point where we had to get a roller bag.
Okay.
So we went with 2 bags, came back with 3.
Have you guys traveled since, and did you learn a lesson?
We went to Florida, and for domestic trips, she has not learned the lesson. But next international trip,
I love that you.
I'm planning a Spain trip in August.
I love that you're a big D, ends with ick. You,
Oh, man,
you would not
the
say
practice
a word.
run.
You would not say a word.
She's
The
like, well,
practice
when-
run was all for naught.
Yeah. You got to admit, though, when I travel, like, I run a tight ship.
You run a tight ship.
I remember you and I, it was
Oh,
the
boy.
first time in Europe,
And we were on a train going the wrong way.
and that only happened once. We're on
No, it happened
it's
a lot.
me and
then
you and your brother.
Okay. Your
my brother.
Your brother.
And
not,
you.
Not my brother.
And
And we're lost on a train.
we were not lost. We never
were-
got lost.
We were lost a lot.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, go
You're
ahead.
just being a D with an ick.
I think your brother took over and he got us to where we needed to go.
Right.
Because he was in the first cavalry.
Right.
He was a
You and if I wouldn't have been there, you guys would still be in Paris.
I am going to call your brother and make sure he listens to this episode of the Ron and Don Show. We're going to have him on.
It's his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to my brother.
Happy birthday, Rob.
yesterday.
And you remember all the times we got lost. And then because you were in the Army and we weren't, Rob saved the day, I would say.
Perfect.
And then we went
If that's a story you
we
want
went
to publish
a
on
Michelin
YouTube,
restaurant,
fine.
and one person had a great over expensive dinner, and the 2 other guys are like, "Hey, can we just go have a beer somewhere?" Even though I don't think I was drinking on that trip.
Isn't it true that you literally texted me when we go to
Literally?
London? Am I allowed to jog through the streets
No, Paris.
or whatever city it was?
I did run through Paris.
I know, but you asked permission first.
I ran through Paris and I ran through London. I woke up. I did CrossFit around all the
I
castles.
understand that, but you didn't
And then
even know.
And then I ran through the hedgerows.
I don't want to hear about this. With you traveling
through
people.
the hedgerows. No, because I wondered if you guys were still going to be hungover from the night
my
before, or if you guys wanted to go for a
No,
jog.
that's
and
not it.
We had a great time. I learned my lesson. No, I think that you really showed her.
There's a way to travel internationally, and I have cracked the code. Period.
Final question. Are you allowed if you're in a middle seat? And
You can stop right there. You're not allowed to do anything in the middle seat.
No,
I don't
you're-
even hear the end of this
No,
question.
you're on an airplane, and it's your assigned seat, and there's an open aisle seat, 2 aisles up, and you know if you got that aisle seat online, you would have paid probably more money for it. It used to be, you could just kind of scoot around and move around. What is the decorum now when you're flying?
I think it's airline to airline. Are you
Are you allowed to move?
I don't think you're allowed to move.
Seats open.
Here's the little secret I've found, and it's not really a secret. Be very nice to the flight crew, because there are so many jerks right now. If you're really nice to the flight crew, sometimes even bring them a coffee, bring them like some candy.
You brought someone a coffee.
I brought candy and coffee, chocolates.
Chocolate.
You bring that to the flight crew. Then when it comes time to ask if you can move, you're more likely
What
to
kind of
get
chocolate?
like individually wrapped chocolates.
You just get when you're walking on the plane.
And you say, "You guys have a tough job. I bought you some chocolates."
I think they would look.
No strings attached.
I think they would look at you and say, "You're probably traveling with someone with an oversized bag."
Exactly.
The practice run. I love the practice run. It's my favorite thing. You should teach a course online.
I should.
Yeah, you should. More in a minute.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, if you need us, we'd love to sit down with you. Just go to ronanddonsitdown.com if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing. We've been sitting down with a lot of people this week, in fact. Voyager 1, 1967. We send out this spacecraft. I didn't know it was still out there. And evidently in 2004, which seems like a long time ago, 2004.
1967 seems like even a longer time
It
ago.
seems like the thrusters back in 2004 are broken. You would think with 1967 technology. I mean, we weren't even playing I was born in 67. right around the Summer of Love. We didn't have phones. We weren't even playing Atari yet. So you start wondering what that kind of technology is. And I remember when we were living in Dallas, you went to the Houston Space Center with an overpacked bag because you weren't the traveler that you are today, right? You went there with a roller bag. And I remember when you came back and you said, hey, you know what? Maybe the moon landing didn't happen. And you were joking because you said, these guys were cowboys, man. You should go
around in a tin
and
can,
see
man.
some of the technology that they were using to accomplish what they accomplished. So Voyager 1 was certainly this type of technology. It blew me away that then years later, decades later, they're able to fix the thruster system on Voyager 1, and it's thrusting again, and it's continuing to fly out into space. And they say that
Isn't it like gone a light year?
Yeah, and they say that they've made...
Which is incredible when you think about how far... the speed of light for a year is hundreds of millions of miles.
So it's continuing out in space.
It's good gas mileage.
Then they say at some point next year they won't be able to talk to it for a while. And then they think that they'll be able... with the thrusters now fixed, to stay in communication and continue to use Voyager 1. Do you think that's really happening? Do you think there really is a Voyager 1 out in space?
If you ever want to feel really dumb.
And how do they fix those thrusters when you really don't have the technology to do that?
Wi-Fi. It's all Wi-Fi. If you ever want to feel...
That's why you want to use airplane mode on your phone, because you want to make sure we can still chat with Voyager 1.
If you ever want to feel really dumb, like look up Professor Brian Cox online and just watch a video on quantum mechanics and the multiverse. And he's so engaging, and you're watching it and it feels like you're tracking, and then the video ends and you're like, I don't know anything that they just said. I understand. There's an interview with him and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they're both great communicators. And I don't know anything they said. It's fascinating.
Tyson is very Malcolm Gladwell, though. Malcolm Gladwell says he tries to boil everything down so an 8th grader can understand it. I think Tyson does the same thing.
I think Brian Cox is coming to tour in Seattle. I would love to go see him. Fascinating dude.
Yeah.
Anyways. Talks about deep space all the time.
Yeah. Voyager 1 is out there. All right. Before we get out of here, what have you been watching? What have you been reading? Watching, reading, listening to. Watching, reading, listening.
The new season of Welcome to Wrexham just dropped. This is the story of Ryan Reynolds, and Rob McElhenney that bought. So they bought this football club.
What's it called again?
Welcome to Wrexham.
Which is a follow-up to Welcome Back Kotter with Horshack,
Welcome to
Vinnie
Wrexham.
Barbarino, and Washington.
Wrexham is a town in Wales. Their football club had been relegated outside of the league. And so, in the price of the owners,
Ryan Reynolds bought
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I just said that. And so they purchased the squad for 2.5 million euros about 5 years ago, and immediately got upgraded the.
What is that in crypto?
In crypto, I don't know. And so they upgraded everything, got some new sponsors. Their sponsors when they took over was like the local farmer supply store.
Yeah.
So they. Over the course of these seasons, they've gotten promoted back-to-back seasons. The value of the team is now in the hundreds of millions of euros. And so they're going for now the Champions League, which is right below Premier League. And the new season just came out, and so I'm watching that. It's a great television show, and it's basically Ted Lasso in real life. Tom Brady makes an appearance.
Yeah.
When Tom Brady saw these guys buy Wrexham, he bought into a squad, and the two teams were playing.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave the suspense there on what happened. So that's what I'm watching.
What is the 4th season of that soccer show that Jason Sudeikis is on? What's that called again? Soccer show.
Ted Lasso?
Yeah, Ted Lasso.
I just said Ted Lasso.
I know.
It's not Jason. It's
Jason Sudeikis.
Sudeikis?
Yeah. What do you mean it's not him?
Okay, go ahead.
It's whoever Jason is. Jason S.
Okay.
As I like to call him. I think that show is over.
I think
it reminds me of a show that I watched that Bryan Cranston was on.
Breaking Bad.
No.
Malcolm in the Middle.
No.
Your Honor.
Yes. After season 1, that show ended perfectly, and you said, this show is over. This is an amazing season. That's it.
It was a good season.
And then they came out with season 2, which was goddamn ridiculous when you're listening to it and you're like, why did they do that? Because you wrecked the whole thing. And then I was reading the other day, he didn't even want to do it. He's like, yeah, I don't see a season 2. And they're like, this thing did so well, and we made so much money. We got to come out with season 2.
Your Honor, part 2.
It's horrible. Have you watched part 2?
I know. I watched
It's horrible.
1. It was very good. Season 1 was very
Season
good.
1 was amazing. It ended perfectly. And then season 2, and you're like, what's going on? And I think probably the same with Jason S. with that show. I think that show...
It was 3 seasons and it ended perfectly.
Perfectly. So why do we want more?
Because people would watch it.
I don't think they will.
Not as many, but it'll be profitable.
I think the same thing will happen that Bryan Cranston is such a great actor.
He's very good.
Yeah. Is he better
What
than
are you watching?
Well, I got some breaking news
Please,
for you and Matt off the mic.
If you start talking about the Brady Bunch right now, I'm walking out.
Thank you.
If you bring up the Brady, I literally am walking
Question and
out.
answer. They haven't had an episode out.
I'm leaving.
The Brady Bros.
I'm warning you.
The real Brady
I'm
Bros.
out. I just warned you.
With Greg and Peter.
I'm out.
Episode 61.
I'm out.
Barry's Toothbrushes is the episode. That's awesome. Also, check out Chasing Life. Come on back.
Are we done with the Brady?
Yeah, with Goop and Coop. We got Coop Anderson, Dr. Goopa, Chasing Life. And let's see. Have you always wondered, should you be drinking oat milk, pistachio milk, whole milk,
I've never wondered this.
half milk, 3/4 milk,
Never wondered
slim
this.
milk, almond milk? Do you ever wonder about the milks?
No.
Goop and Coop have a whole
About rice milk.
episode. It's in there. What about how your pregnancy reshapes the brain?
I think about that all the time.
Yes. What about lead poisoning and what we learned in groundwater in Milwaukee? Making sense of menopause. I think all of us want to know more about menopause.
Well, I'm worried about you.
Can you get too many vaccines? How Samantha Bee is surviving. Goop really likes talking about menopause.
You're one step away from talking about RFK Jr.
Yeah, let's see. And is there a natural equivalent to Ozempic? I think people are interested in that. And then go outside, doctor's orders. That's
You're just
good one.
reading the titles off of their podcast.
Yes. Chasing Life with Dr. Goop and Coop Anderson. Goop and
Perfect.
Coop. Do you like it?
I like the Coop and Goop show. That should be.
This is actually really good. And I was telling you before about this whole thing about protein and eating too much protein and how everything has protein now. And a lot of the things that they're adding protein to are processed foods. And you're telling you're not supposed to eat processed food, but I'm supposed to eat more protein. So do I eat the protein with the processed food or don't? You're going to have to listen to Chasing Life
with Coop and Goop.
with Coop and Goop. It's good. You should.
I'll check it out.
It's not the Brady Bros,
Nothing
but
is
in
the
a
Brady
way,
Bros.
Coop and Goop are kind of bros.
They are kind of bros.
Yeah, they are kind of bros. Anyway, we got to get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Tell the people.
Hey, if you are wanting to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, we would love to be your brokers. You can go to ronanddonsitdown.com, book a time right there. Or you can email me, ron@ronanddon.com, and I can get you our buyer's playbook or seller's playbook.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, if you need us, just reach out, ronanddonsitdown.com. Get signed up for the Nation News, the Buyer's Playbook, the Seller's Playbook. I want to thank Matt today for working on the show. Also, our good friend Grace. Let's not forget Ron, Don, Charlie the dog, and my son is going to take us out. Till next time, you keep your head up, your shoulders back, and keep watching us on YouTube. You've been listening to the Ron and Don Show only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, it's G-Force O'Neill. Thanks for listening to my dad and his boyhood friend, Mr. Ron.